Hey guys, Kyle here. So, just before the show starts, I wanted to mention our Patreon. You can pay us $1 a month as a thank you, as a tip. You can pay $2 a month to get access to one of our bonus content shows, episodes 2 days early, and a secret Discord chat where all of our Patreon donors get to go and hang out and talk with us directly. Then there's a $5 tier that you can donate to get access to a whole bunch more content. We have multiple bonus episodes on there. So please check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We don't advertise, we don't make money. So check it out and throw some money if you think that would be cool. Thanks.
Welcome to It Gets Weird, our comedy show where we explore the unusual, the unbelievable, and the unexplained to try to make your world a little weirder. I'm Niall.
And I'm Kyle, bringing you scary greetings on this episode of It Gets Weird, the podcast.
Mm-hmm. It is scary season. We're in spooky season, as it's colloquially known.
Big time. I mean, we brought it up last episode, but I can't stress how scary things are going to get. I guess, I don't know. You can tell me if this is fair, Niall, but I think if, you have a weak constitution, or, if you have, if you're like easily scared or surprised or frightened by things, then I would maybe skip this month of podcasts. Across the board, not just us. I mean,
not just us. Like,
this, but
this is there was an email sent out to all podcasts, the podcast group of emails, and it said, "Hey, bring in your scariest content this 2023 October. It's important. We gotta up the spook quotient." So, podcasting as a whole, a united front, is going to be trying to scare your pants off this month.
This month is for the horror freaks. We want your scariest episodes. What's another podcast? What's
Outside Dive?
Outside Dive is going to be talking all about The Undertaker, and they're going to be talking about Paul Bearer and the scariest wrestling moves on the planet.
Yeah, and when you talk about Paul Bearer and the scariest wrestling moves, you're of course talking about the time they stuck him in a plexiglass tank and filled that tank with concrete.
There's that, and there's also
devastating
the time where he died, and that was kind of scary for the world. Mm-hmm. And probably for him too. I imagine death is scary. But what's the podcast where all the ladies from The Office talk together? That show, they're going to be doing scariest episodes of The Office. Scariest gym moments is going to be what they're focusing on, gym, and then like maybe they'll have like a really scary time where it's Michael Scott like almost like killed someone, or like there were like maybe there's Halloween specials. I don't remember.
There are a couple Halloween specials to that show. They're going to be talking about them all month long. All the ins and outs and wonderful content. So that's just you have to cross promote at least one other podcast during this month and talk about what they're doing.
Yeah,
I think that somehow fucking that one podcast that's on TikTok that just like two guys that are supposedly friends, but just one is just constantly dunking on the other one, and that's the only content you ever see. They got ours. Like it's the backyard basement something or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
they're gonna be, go listen to their newest episode because they're gonna be the ones that drew our name and are gonna be talking about how spooky we are.
Yeah, Come Down is reuniting for the.
Oh, did they break up?
I think. I think. Okay. I don't think they're doing things. I don't listen, but
look, they had to take some time off to recharge.
Yeah, they had to hit the fridge, get some orange juice, check for check for your mom's snacks and see what was in the pantry. But yeah, they're going to be telling like probably the scariest like cum stories and stories where people like jizz in a really scary way.
They're just going to open their newest episode with the story of a guy from Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk, where a guy sticks his butthole to a jet in a pool and it sucks his colon out,
sucks his whole thing out
while he's masturbating.
He's trying really hard to masturbate, but it's got to be a bit disruptive to have your colon get blown out of your get yanked out of your asshole.
We're starting our episodes this month with challenging content. I gotta say,
it's October. It's Halloween month. I'm sorry if you don't follow this particular, not you, Niall, but the listener at home. If you don't follow this particular sort of way of life where you just treat the entire month as being Halloween like we do, but like I don't know what to tell you. That's how we are. I personally, Niall can. I mean, I guess the listener at home can't see, but I did join the cult known as the Esoteric Order of Dagon.
Yes.
And that's like a like a Yog Sothoth sort of deal. Like we're trying to get Yog Sothoth, up and at him. And but there's like a whole cult. I don't know if people know about this, but like with the Order of Dagon, like we kind of have mandatory cloaks. It's getting a little hot in this room recording with you, but
you look great.
Thank you.
Look great.
And I'll be wearing this the entire month because hopefully on Samhain we will have actually culminated in our ritual to bring Yog Sothoth up and at him. So
I think the most crucial part of this is the fact that under your hood, your hood is thin enough that your light up gamer headphones shine through and actually create like kind of a backlight onto your glasses lenses.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool looking. You got kind of like the borderline like light up anime glasses going.
Yeah, cool is a word for it. I did not know that these had lights in them when I ordered them so long ago. I would have not gotten the gamer Skechers headphones if I'd known, but here we are. So
you really should next time just go full cat ears. I think that would do a lot for you.
And when I have the Zoom meetings with the Order of Dagon, they're all you can tell people are like nobody says anything, but you can.
Oh, the Order of Dagon's not on Teams yet. They're still full blown. Okay.
No, it's been Zoom meetings mostly.
Okay.
Anyways, what's the scary topic that you have for me today on this Hallows Day of the month?
I kept trying to like find a segue from what we were talking about, but we somehow did not really skirt anything that would get like the closest would be talking because Kyle, today I want to talk about I tried to do an alien primer episode this time, but I ended up going down a rabbit hole of a kind of our kind of new agey culty kind of people, and I found a person that I want to talk about today.
Now I'm pretty deeply familiar with that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm curious if you will know this name. Yeah. You very well could. Honestly, I tried to look through our episodes and see where we would have come across this before. And there's a couple like she has popped up in a lot of places. But today, Kyle, I want to talk about the works of one Laura Knight-Jadczyk.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I have done like any sort of research on her. But the name is familiar. Yeah.
Okay. So her big thing, she's got a couple big things, and we'll talk about them as we go. But the biggest part of her works deal with the aliens known as the Cassiopeans, which are the specific alien race that she has a different name for it, but she's a channeler. We're talking about a channeler today in terms of she gets all of this information directly from these Cassiopean, some other people as well, but the C's, as she calls them on a lot of her websites, the Cassiopeans,
like the Holy C's, or
no, just straight up like the letter C. They I think they just got sick of typing Cassiopeia. Like,
yeah, people couldn't spell it and stuff.
Yeah, now, the spelling makes sense, but it doesn't. I just want to throw something in here to help you out, and I know you're going to get into this, but for people who maybe aren't aware.
There is a type of UFO person, new type of guy just dropped. This UFO person, they basically, the people who talk about channeling, right? I'm not going to remember the name off the top of my head, but like you could go back to, I want to say late 19th century where this stuff starts kind of coming about, but there are a couple people way back when who would claim to like channel entities and spirits and things, and eventually when it kind of met with New Age stuff. That also came to be that people would claim to be able to channel extraterrestrial entities and interdimensional entities. Now, I don't know anything about what these Cassiopeans, which, like, I don't think we've talked about Cassiopeia on here. I've seen the name. I also think it has something to do with Egypt.
It can, yes.
But yeah, so there are people out there who claim to channel aliens and things like that through whatever. Like, they have some special connection that allows them to do that. So
yes, and she doesn't just channel. She actually has another. She basically has created her own special term for the type of channeling she's doing, which is better than a lot of other people's channeling.
Yeah,
because hers
she created it, and
because she's really scientific and
right.
checks all of the information the aliens give her to make sure the aliens aren't lying to her. There's a lot of that kind of thing. Like, this is totally a I'm the universe's most special person kind of.
This is on the up and up
kind of organization.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so let's go ahead and start talking a bit about the Cassiopeans, Laura Knight-Jadczyk, and her many works. To get into this, she kind of comes about in, I believe, one of her first channelings and the first things that she puts out onto the World Wide Web, which is where she started. She was kind of working as an independent book editor for her own Red Pill Press is her book company.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she would edit people's books and work on her own books here. And it started in approximately 1994 was her first like channeling experience with aliens that led to her first book.
Now hold up.
Yeah.
When did The Matrix come out?
99, I want to say.
Okay. And in 94, she's working with Red Pill Press?
Yes. No, Red Pill Press, I think... I don't remember when Red Pill Press gets founded, but that is her company. Okay. And I think it gets started a little bit later. It could very well be in response to the Matrix stuff.
Right.
She just, it's kind of an independent publishing arm that I'm guessing took that name later. It's a lot of kind of effectively self-published work, but under a name that still puts out books like to this day.
Gotcha.
Like they're still around.
Red Pill has a bit of a different connotation these days, even though it was a thing from a movie that whips serious ass, and now a bunch of loser dudes decided to take the word over. But I say we take it back.
Yeah, I think just it's estrogen. Like,
well,
there you go.
The context of that now, yeah, certainly. That's definitely the reading of that movie has changed. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And but yeah, I think we take the red pill back, and I think the red pill could be like a yummy candy and or estrogen. So,
yeah, there you go.
So it's like Mike and Ike, or
yeah. So.
Therapy.
She the funniest thing is she's kind of gotten into, she's one of the people that's gotten into a bit of a tiff with Rational Wiki. Have you ever come across these people? Because there's a section on Rational Wiki about her response to them and the back and forth.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of stuff. Like, Rational Wiki is a pretty well cited thing, even if I don't take all of their stuff at face value.
Yeah.
It's a good place to find sources and shit because of things they're citing.
It's a jumping off point, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you are dealing with, like, trying to find archived versions of this person's website from the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, I think I ran into people getting into tiffs with Rational Wiki back when I did Scott Adams, because he has a page on there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think he found out about his page and was not happy about it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So Laura has gone through a couple different phases in her kind of history. She started out, this is the introduction to her website from 2003 that I found cached. and it'll give you an idea of the kind of realms that she plays in. She does use the terminology of the Matrix, so I do think that the Red Pill Press was a thing in response
it has to be. Yeah.
the Matrix.
Yeah.
So here is the introduction to the website Cassiopeia.net, I believe, from 2003. Welcome to Cassiopeia, the site of Jadczyk and Laura Knight-Jadczyk. That's her husband, who's a professor. We'll get into him a little bit later. Here you will find the results of our research into the nature of reality, the Matrix. What is the Matrix? Which includes articles on future science, quantum physics, quantum theory, conspiracy theory, government conspiracy, the JFK conspiracy, 9/11 conspiracy. Yes, she has a book on it. Moon landing conspiracy, aliens, UFOs, alien abduction, Alien versus Predator. I guess the movie. What? I don't know. It doesn't say. Alien picture.
It would be kind of interesting if in the middle of all of this stuff, this conspiracy stuff, she just also drops an Alien versus Predator just review, like her opinion on the film.
Well, there are certain ways that I wouldn't be super surprised because her content ranges wide. Like, we'll get into it. She has spread herself across many different areas and industries, including a series of cooking and baking tutorials for her own cult's diet that she has on her website or on her YouTube page. You can watch her doing cooking tutorials with like buckwheat flour and shit. It's pretty interesting. Okay. But she also covers alien picture, whatever that means. I'm guessing photos of aliens, alien sex, alien UFO history, ancient wisdom, ancient mystery, genealogy, mythology, secret society, Illuminati, the Holy Grail, the alchemy, the Ark, channeling, the Bible, Sufism, Castaneda, Gurdjieff, Ouspensky, Fourth Way, which will become a thing we'll talk about later, Moravif, and Nostradamus, to mention just a few highlights. So she's staking her claim across a wide range of conspiratorial topics, and is going to cover all of them just for you because she's got information on all of them.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot. You could call her a jack of all trades with it. You could call her a bit of a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Of a researcher here. It's interesting. I'm curious about the alien sex thing. You know, I couldn't let that go, obviously.
Yeah, there's not like a lot of new information there. Like, you know, aliens and sex happens. I didn't find a lot of stuff on, like, honestly, this is one of those people that if I figure out the framework of an episode, there will just be stories from so-and-so cult's website, episodes in the future whenever I figure out how to make that work. Because I kept just finding little rabbit holes and nuggets of articles and information and different thoughts and beliefs that have changed over time. Like, this shit can go really deep, guys.
Yeah. Hell, I would say you could even find nuggets in rabbit holes, but while you're reaching down there, I would suggest wearing a glove because you don't want to pick up a nugget.
Look, I just assume when I'm going into a rabbit hole that I'm going to find some nice plastic eggs with candy and or coins inside of them, because that is what I've been told by Big Easter.
Right. But there's certain rabbit holes now that you're very well aware of.
Yeah.
Where you could pick up some not so tasty nuggets.
Yeah.
So
in modern times, she has simplified her claims a little bit. She now just considers herself a scientific mystic. And runs this whole website. She runs multiple websites, and we'll get into some of the other ones. But her claims have gotten more vague with time. I'm assuming because putting all of those like SEO terms at the top of her page was like driving some weird traffic. But like her whole thing is basically, I am getting all of this information and I am giving it out to the people, and the people that are part of my cult, that are part of my organization, whatever you want to call it. We are the ones that are good and superior, and everyone else are effectively non-humans. Let's get into that, because this is one of the biggest things that I feel I have to start with and make very clear, is the entire concept she has of organic portals. This is. Have you ever heard of this term?
No, it conjures such an image to me.
Yeah.
sorry, I'll let you go ahead, but I don't
No.
I don't like the image that's coming to my mind.
There's
It's a butthole.
effectively yes. Now she did not come up with the term organic portals as far as I'm concerned, and even early on in her works, she specifically contradicted this thought. But if you're looking at the works in the more recent times, her whole thing is based around this idea of like a spiritual caste system, where there are people who are real human beings that are the ones that are part of her group, and people that she can she's the one that can tell you if you're real or if you're real or if you're just an organic portal. Which if you want to look at this, the easiest way to understand what the fuck organic portal means is it's effectively if you look at the modern right-wing playbook of what an NPC is. An organic portal is basically that. This is the definition.
Okay. People
People whose abilities of imitation are so developed, so much an integral part of who they are, that they can only be discovered after years of observation. It is this thing that she's basically just saying, only I can tell you for sure if you're real or fake. The other thing, okay, God, she falls under the whole web of aliens are going to come and harvest us for food, and there's like the good aliens, the Cassiopeans, or some of them, and then there are the bad aliens that are going to come down and suck you dry and use you as food. And the whole like battle in the cosmos between these alien factions is the battle of good and evil is basically my group versus the darkness and all of the organic portals that are just disposable energy effectively. And like one of the earliest channelings she has from July 16th, 1994 says that one of the aliens says that 94% of the population are just containers. They will be used for consumption and consumed for ingredients and used for parts to reprototype humans into the alien hybridization master race thing, you know, that she thinks is coming. And so like it is effectively the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the Matrix. Yeah, although the level of like solipsism with the whole NPCs thing, like people are look. Okay, I'm gonna just flat out say it. There are people out there, and this seems to be one of them, who are so stupid that they actually have convinced themselves to legitimately like believe solipsism, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, nobody who is like actually, you know, a rational thinker believes that. So it's, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is I'm picking up on some red flags here with with this lady.
Not to skip ahead, but she can tell you who the real Jews are too. And
boy, that's another fun.
Or one. Sorry, okay. The true Semites. We will talk about that later as well. Which me saying that term, you instantly know exactly what she's drawing on. Like she doesn't. Okay. Nothing she contributes, as far as I can tell, is actually new. She's just taking a bunch of things and repurposing them for her
it
works.
All together. Yeah.
And it's you know. It's a lot of it sucks. That right. I'll just lay that out pretty clear right now.
It's the easiest way to dupe a bunch of people to giving you money. So yeah, I imagine this is working out for her.
And another big thing that she proselytizes is that let's see, how does she put it? This is one of the kind of weird things that I don't I guess it kind of makes sense. It's knowledge protects, ignorance endangers. This is one of what one of her channeled sources likes to repeat pretty constantly. Basically, the information we are giving you, by you having it protects you from this 94% battery group. And people that don't know this. So basically, if you don't go to Laura for her information that she's getting from these Cassiopeans, you are in danger of being murdered for fuel. That's the concept here.
Okay, got it.
And there's some big, I could not find a singular answer to this. There is some big thing that she talks about in the intro to her website now, as of like 2023, when I was doing research, where there is this specific idea that she has that is, or the specific piece of information that was given to her that is like the silver bullet, most dangerous thing for this alien menace. But I could not for the life of me find any clue as to what the fuck that was. I probably have to pay for a bunch of shit to get it.
Yeah, you need to unlock the secrets with, 5 easy payments of $19.99.
Yeah. She's taken works from a bunch of different people, but like they kept like referencing this like great kind of secret, and no matter how far I looked, I could not find what that actually was. And it seemed to just basically be like, buy my books. She is definitely a kind of comes out of Christian fundamentalist sects.
You don't say.
She considers herself a paleo-Christian shaman.
Oh, yeah, those guys. Okay.
Yep. And actually, she has a church that she runs. She calls it a church. The French government and their anti-cult task force calls it a cult.
If there's one thing a person like this needs, it's to run a fucking church. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's called the Fellowship of the Cosmic Mind, and I believe it is still extant. But as of like 2003, it was getting kind of the French like anti-cult task force, which, from what I like did a cursory Google on, like people like it's kind of a fucked up organization that doesn't. That is kind of dicey on everything, but not with this one, like
yeah, even a broken clock and all that.
Yeah. So I didn't know that France had an anti-cult task force before like 3 days ago. But they seem to not like the Fellowship of the Cosmic Mind.
We don't have one here, as you can very easily see. I'm here in my cult garb talking to you, and I appreciate that we haven't, made such a, I'll say it, fascist move as that. So I guess France is off the table for a while with me and my cohorts.
Yeah. So the other thing that she calls the whole like battery thing soul smashing. I didn't mention that, which okay. I don't know if that has anything to do with soul scalping, because she doesn't get too far into what soul smashing really means, other than it is like a way to destruct the actual soul of a human being. Like it is like a way to just like destroy it entirely. She started out leaning more into the like crunchy left wing, kind of new agey circles and stuff but has in recent times, like around the time of the rise of Donald Trump, descended fully into right wing, alt-right, like QAnon, fucking like January 6th shit, like a lot of COVID denial stuff. Her forum is just like all about COVID denial and like masks and shit nowadays.
Great. I mean, okay, so she's like following the money essentially.
Yes. It is the archetypical arc for these people. It is supposedly left wing whatever in the 90s, when that didn't really mean much in this area, and then as stuff goes, pure fascist.
Yeah, pretty bad.
And she started off pretty tame with just like channeling some supposed like earthquakes and stuff like that from people that well, like predicting earthquakes.
No, I know what you mean, but it's like I'm thinking about her like channeling to cast a spell to just cause an earthquake.
Yeah,
it would be kind of funny. Maybe like traps the French anti-cult task force in the earthquake, and
it's like she pulls like a Bane in Dark Knight Rises, where that she traps like the entire anti-cult task force in a tunnel underground. Yeah, and letting her free to like tell all of France who's an actual person and who's just a portal.
Yeah, she walks out through an organic portal. I almost said flesh portal, but
yeah,
that's
which
more
would be a little different.
Cronenberg sort of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, she's channeling stuff about like earthquakes and natural disasters, along with like general, hey, the Denver airport is fucked up stuff. like shady secret stuff happening at the Denver airport was in some of her earliest channelings. And she also started to seed the earliest parts of the grand unified conspiracy theory of the evil aliens trying to harvest the human race there as well. It also, okay, this is the thing. She talks a lot about Atlantis, especially early, because there's this random aside by the alien that she's channeling that the whole grand evil plot to like harvest all of mankind, or 94% of them or whatever, is, quote, karmic justice for Atlantis being destroyed. So like we somehow, yeah, it ties into a bunch of shit we've talked about before. Do you remember when I did an episode on Velikovsky and his whole thing about Venus being from another galaxy, and like
yeah,
she comes out of that circle of things.
Okay. Oh my God. I mean, I just want to point out that the last 30 seconds of shit you just said is so fucking insane.
Yes.
That it was like actually almost hard to follow. I understand what you're saying. But I had to like think for a second to like,
yeah. So let me do a quick, I'll try to kind of enlighten those that haven't listened to every episode of this podcast. So, grand unified conspiracy stuff, when we're talking about the aliens being the evil people that are going to come down and harvest all of mankind as fuel or parts or slaves or whatever it is, the exact methodology changes, but that is the grand unified, like, Illuminati New World Order type conspiracy, is that they're going to take over the whole planet and use people for fuel. And then the Velikovsky thing was a Russian physicist or astronomer. I forget exactly.
I think astronomer, but
I think that's right. Who had this whole theory about, I'm trying to remember what exact, because I got really into that kind of shit for a minute. Was that the Purple Order?
I think it's
okay.
Purple something. Yeah.
So this whole thing is that basically, there's this concept in conspiracy theory that the number of celestial bodies in our solar system has changed through time. There's versions of this in Ancient Alien stuff with Planet X and Nibiru, which he also talks about. There's also one about the purple dawn of something. I forget exactly what the term is. The purple dawn, if you look that up along with Velikovsky, you'll probably find it, where Venus came from another solar system that kind of crossed paths on the galactic scale with this other universe, or this other solar system, and got pulled into our orbit. And that shift in the like order of our cosmos led to these shifts in climate and everything that spawned life and allowed people from Venus, these aliens that were in Venus and this other solar system, to then come to our solar system and act as the ancient aliens that created humanity. And so she has that tapped into her kind of grand theory as well.
It's, oh God, Jesus
Along
Christ.
with another favorite of mine, she references that Sodom and Gomorrah was a nuclear event.
Yeah,
which is,
that's, oh my God.
She is all over the fucking place.
This person needs to fucking pick one. I'll like, this is so many, like, I get, you know, honestly, for as insane and hard to follow as it is with what this lady is into, it kind of makes sense, not like narratively, but like,
yeah,
if you're going to try and grift the conspiracy like fringe like this, you might as well pick up every single thing that you can, try to make it fit. Doesn't matter if it works. You just got to be able to put it into a book or a seminar.
And she firmly agrees with you there, because here's just a list of some of her websites, organizations, various things. So the biggest one is Cassiopeia. There is both Cassiopeia.com and Cassiopeia.net. This is her original main hub of information and her like biggest, I don't know if it's technically her biggest, but it's her most notable site in that regard. She has then a personal blog at Laura-Knight-Jadczyk.com. Then she also owns SOTT.net, or Sign of the Times, which is your like run-of-the-mill fucking alt news aggregator, where it just is a news page of all alternative quote news that is, the stuff that the mainstream media is not telling you. It's her info wars basically, but website, not news show. Then there's also a kind of subheading for the Cassiopeia experiment, which is all of the actual channeling with the Cassiopeians. Then there is the Quantum Future School of Ascension, which is an older kind of mystery school that she tried to run before she started a full-blown church. Then there's the Fellowship of the Cosmic Mind, which is also an older organization that's defunct. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. Yes. And then there's also, I don't know how to say this because I believe it is in, what's the Gaelic?
Mm-hmm.
Iru Eolas, which is her breathing and meditation program that she runs as an offshoot of Cassiopeia. Then there's Red Pill Press, which is her publishing company. And then there's also the like Buckwheat Manor, I think, which is her like the building. It's her home, effectively. She runs like a kind of almost like family commune homestead thing for her and some of her followers in France, where she lives, I think, to this day. And that's where her cooking videos are out of. She has done a lot of different things. This is like when I was going back to that my alien hunter guy and looking at all of the things that are just like LLCs registered to his house.
Yeah.
These are all just different arms of the same information and under different guises.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I just, I feel like maybe I don't know how many times I say this on this show. But everything Niall has described for the past 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, is all based on nothing. Just to be clear, I'm sure people out there listening are like, that's interesting. I wonder about that. And maybe there's something to this Purple Order. No, it's based on nothing. I also is
Purple Order of the Golden Dawn. Is that it?
No, no, you're conflating two things.
The Golden Dawn is the other thing.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
It's all good, but I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, this podcast episode's fucking fried. I said, like, is the Purple Order stuff associated with the electric universe theory?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I like. That's like,
and she has a whole tab on Cassiopeia for Electric Universe, by the way.
Jesus Christ. I mean, is what I just said is like a fucking Manchurian Candidate trigger phrase. Like it's so absurd. And again,
this is
people listening to this, if you aren't following, that's okay. I honestly kind of have a feeling that this woman also isn't following the stuff that she's writing, because it doesn't matter. Like,
this is one of those times that I think about a friend of the show, Jules, will occasionally, after she does an episode with us, come up to me and just say, not everyone's listened to every episode of your podcast.
Yeah.
Sometimes you should explain references and stuff.
And
but then the podcast would be longer.
I agree. Imagine if we had to sit here and re-explain Electric Universe Theory, the Purple Order. If we had to explain all that stuff, it would be fucking impossible. So all I can really say is all of this stuff is seriously wackadoo. I just I like I said, I'm assuming she's incorporating as much as she can to hit as many target. Like, this is the fucking scattershot method of grifting here.
Oh, and she's also written at least 14 books.
Yeah,
and continues to write books.
And I'm assuming these channeler people always have seminars. It's like, come to my seminar, pay me however much, and I will channel this entity, and you will get to have direct contact through me with whatever fucking guy I'm channeling from the Zeta Reticuli system or whatever. I see it all the time, which is crazy to think
Kyle,
I see it all the time.
It's so fucking funny that you say that, because literally when okay, let me see if I remember the actual order of events here. When the French anti-cult task force started to go after her organization, she literally started a fundraiser drive on one of their websites, and was promising, quote, calls from your future from alien entities. I don't know if she would be channeled. I don't know how exactly that works. But that was a thing she was promising at one point. So I don't know how all that works. Maybe she's got a fucking chronovisor along with her channeling abilities and stuff, but oh yeah, okay. That's another thing. So in the calls for our future kind of thing, the Cassiopeans, I haven't found the exact way that they do this, but they are a part of the kind of aliens are in some form or fashion time traveling from the future kind of thing. The whether that's whether you want to put that in the ultra terrestrial hypothesis or in one of the like something more specific to humans are or aliens are quote humans from the future as a separate theory. We're not dealing with full blown they are extraterrestrial, but they're also like kind of from the future. Like, I don't know exactly what Cassiopeans are supposed to be, and that's honestly, that confusion is what led to this episode as I was trying to do a primer. So the thing that I can tell you more than anything is that what does she use for doing all of her channeling other than
her mind?
Well, I mean, yeah, but she uses a goddamn Ouija board.
Oh. That's I'll be honest with you, a little less. Okay, what do you think is going to be more convincing? Mm-hmm. It's like you go into this Holiday Inn like room, right? And there's a channeler there, and they're like dressed in like some sort of vague Eastern garb, and they're cross-legged and their eyes are closed, and they very calmly tell you, "Welcome. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to reach out to the presence from Saturn." Yeah. Or this lady sits there and you see her produce from behind your back a box with the word Hasbro on it.
Yeah.
Which is going to be more convincing, I guess. I mean, obviously it works, but like at the same time, I'm just like, oh, you got to use the children's toy to get there, huh? Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Ouija boards are such a funny thing, because like they've developed such this reputation by sheer force of pop culture alone. I like they're a toy.
It started as a toy. One.
Yeah.
And can I actually just well, okay, and if again we're playing scattershot, this is the thing we always have to assume here. We're always playing the scattershot method, like I mentioned earlier. So maybe the Ouija board entices some of the more paranormal minded conspiracy types. Like maybe people who are like more into like ghosts or like the interdimensional theory of spirits or whatever. Like maybe that's what she's trying to do with that. I don't know. But can I play a very quick, short little game here with you?
Sure, go ahead.
I just need you to answer one question. I'm assuming that there are even more big conspiracy theory topics that she incorporates into her belief system, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can I see if I can guess 3 of them?
I don't have an exhaustive list of everyone she touches, but I can try to give you. I actually still have her website pulled up, so let me.
Does she have a thing for like the gold standard and like a the like world currency thing?
So she does have let's see.
You don't necessarily need to like get deep into it. I'm just like curious if I can like nail her down here.
Well, she has a whole section for NWO and Global Elite, which is usually like that stuff kind of falls underneath there. Does she have a search? Yes, she does. Let me just search.
She's got a search.
Federal Reserve.
Please, yeah. Let's see what happens if there has to be something, right? Like.
Maybe this is the thing. This is how we do these episodes. Is I have people's websites up and we go spelunking.
So I love that. Did you get anything?
Oh, she has oh God. Okay.
Does she have a crypto coin? Stuff.
No. She just it's bringing up a lot of stuff that is not
safe for work.
No, just not like it's bringing up everything. Like all of her stuff is so interrelated that it's bringing up like 150 different fucking things. But there is stuff about here, underground and underwater bases here. John F. Kennedy and the Titans.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I got that one. Okay.
Yeah, she's also got a section on here just called Cosmic COINTELPRO Timeline.
Oh, those fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. This lady is wow. Okay.
I'll just say this. You could spend, there are worse ways to spend an afternoon than just clicking random shit on Cassiopeia.org.
Yeah. Okay. Does she have I can't remember if you mentioned this already, but maybe does she? I'm assuming she has a big thing with the reptilians.
Yes, that again is part of the NWO and Global Elite stuff.
Okay.
There's a whole thing. Oh yeah, here's it. I just found Federal Reserve as a tag on a post from 1914. So
hell yeah,
we're good.
Yes,
Federal
okay,
Reserve
all right,
Act,
score.
Rockefeller Foundation. So you definitely got
2-0. One more.
Yeah, go outside of the NWO here. I'm gonna challenge you to pick something because.
But you could tie anything.
Her scattershot is so fucking okay. Fair.
But you could tie just about any of these topics. Like it does. How about like you mentioned the Sodom and Gomorrah thing?
Mm-hmm.
So she's got Bible. Does she?
I just remembered something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And it made me very happy.
Ancient biblical giants like the Nephilim.
Oh, the Nephilim are 100% involved in her shit, cool. And that actually gets us back on topic because
perfect.
The part of the whole threat, and in her 1994 original claims, the invasion of these people to come harvest us took place involving 3 gigantic ships, each carrying 12 million Nephilim, which are giant humanoid aliens armed with stun guns, I guess, that were on their way from Orion. There are reptilians involved in that as well, along with Nordics. Like, she starts out with effectively your boilerplate fucking alien invasion, NWO secret kind of world order kind of thing is kind of her starting point, which I think was like in the vogue at the time. Like 1994 is like in that era of this kind of shit. So it's like post Space Brother, post like Happy Aliens into like the world that led us to Independence Day being a blockbuster.
Right.
You know?
Oh my God.
Think about that, huh?
Yeah. Whew, okay. Well, I feel really, really good about winning that game. And I feel good in one way and terrible in another.
Yeah. This is, look, we're almost certainly this is going to be a 2-parter because I'm not anywhere close to done.
I love that for us, honestly. I actually love that because I would love to see if we can get as much about this lady as we can.
Look, if we dug through our website, this could be at least a month of content, but we'll save some of that for the future. So to continue with her theories, her whole thing of organic portals, like we were talking about earlier, she basically took this from a guy named Boris Moravif's idea of pre-Adamics, which is another kind of similar thing. Like his whole thing was the delineation is pre-Adamic and Adamic people, and that is basically people without souls and people who are sold or are quote individually sold. So instead of you being a just like husk for the general like drone, instead of being a drone, you have a soul individually into and of yourself. This stuff plays into a lot of the kind of metaphysical alien stuff that I've skirted around and touched a little bit in you know the however many years of doing this podcast. So we're very much in that realm here. So yeah, there's the concept of fucking organic portals is incredibly problematic to begin with, but it's going to get worse. So she came up with the idea of soul smashing in a channeling session September 13th, 2009. She says that souls have spent millions and billions of years living these very human lives of minerals and animals and yada, yada, yada. And we've grown this consciousness that has started to persist beyond death. So there is some element of reincarnation starting that can some innate self is transferred between incarnations. And over time, specifically once like HARP started sending like beam weapons and shit.
Oh, fuck. Should we stop and explain what that means? Like,
I will in just a second.
Okay.
if now, especially with that kind of stuff, that is really amplifying and speeding up the soul smashing process, where over time your eternal soul is getting ground down by these evil forces into nothingness. And once you get to the quote bare bottom level of inanimate matter, you have to start your whole soul evolution process from the beginning again. So we are talking about kind of a kind of ascension type ideology here. So to go back to the HARP thing, HARP is I forget what it stands for. It's a massive radar array that a lot of people think is being used to control the weather and or used to send out energy waves to control people. Like, it's part of the whole NWO kind of conspiracy. So yeah,
it does everything from like create storms to like actual mind control beams. For some
the greatest thing about HARP is that the people that have the biggest theories on it don't understand how it works and are just scared of it. So they say it does terrifying things.
Naturally, it makes me think of it's like the natural. It's like it reminds me of 5G, right? Like, people just completely do not understand what it is, what it does, how it works. People hear the phrase radiation and they're like, "Oh fuck," and they just and so they get really loud and stupid about it.
Yeah. So she also thinks that like there are all these like traps. There are all these things that will work to kind of continue to break up your individual soul. Whether it's like diet, whether it is evil forces out in the world, whether like all of the things that she is doing, her grand goal is to keep the outside forces of the world from tearing down your soul, to keep you from ascending. Is kind of the general thrust of what she's talking about. And that's, she luckily, when she found out about soul smashing around the same time, like around the same time, she came up with her breathing and meditation program that also helps to combat those things. Perfect. So luckily she found the problem and also had the solution for you.
And this
probably
is,
for
this
some
is
easy
just,
payments.
This is also, like you said, rebranded soul scalping, like how we recycle souls and it like, I don't know, bit by bit, like tears your soul down or whatever. And you have to keep, trying to ascend and blah. It's the same fucking shit. And I'm presuming she got it from somewhere, and so incorporated.
Yeah. So then her next shift came in approximately 2011, when she effectively just accepted the idea that her and her organization were the only thing keeping aliens from winning. So this is from a session dated June 11th, 2011. She asks, why can't they just bump us off if we're such a pain in the whatever? They can't. Why? We cannot tell you that, as it would interfere with mission.
What?
Well, why would it interfere with the mission? If you know why, you will anticipate and possibly make mistakes fatal to yourself. Let us just say that they know that harm to you would result in their own total destruction along a more negative timeline. Well, if my death would bring about their destruction, then maybe it would be a good idea for me to check out, right? Well, isn't that what we want? Again, we cannot tell you all, but know that there is no chance for a positive outcome for Earth and the future without without the presence. And by the presence, she means her. So there's no chance for a positive outcome without me, and yet my death would ensure their total destruction. And all else, the aliens say. Her death would not only destroy the aliens, but end the fucking cosmos.
Okay, so this is a pretty special sort of version of the sort of like egoistic bullshit we see. We got to come up with a name for this phenomenon. The thing that popped into my brain was alien hunter complex. But maybe we could
it's the galactic chosen one.
Yeah,
like that's what we're dealing with here is the chosen one trope.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
In the wingnut realm, but I'm not against, like, the alien hunter is a great example of a chosen one. So I'm down to name it after that man.
Yeah, that's this is like maybe one of the more extreme examples I've seen of this, because like this is how all super soldier stuff also functions. and that's painting with a very broad brush, but there's a lot more going on there. But like, usually the super soldiers are at least like, well, I'm all about threats to Earth, and I'm defending against that. Whereas this lady literally says the cosmos will be wiped out without her.
Yeah.
All right.
This has something. Okay. This has something to do with like her quote receivership case capability, which is the thing that she talks about, which is like the potential for quote unquote extraordinary growth of consciousness and stuff that is like, basically there are people that are more attuned to being able to contact with the aliens and stuff, and she can help you figure that out. And she's like really tuned to it. She has very high receivership capability that is very important for the future of the entire world. Also, the whole thing about her being there's after where I stopped reading about the transmission about the cosmic main character syndrome. She literally was goes on to talk about, is this why we are vomiting? Because at some point in this time period, around 2011, various people, I guess, they're like, there must have been a flu going around her little group of people, because she, quote unquote, people were experiencing headaches, nausea, vomiting, and more. And she started to blame that on HARP.
Wow.
Because like HARP was putting out these these beams that were like specifically targeting them, because they're such a threat.
Okay.
So there's that as well. Like she basically invented Havana syndrome. That is kind of what we're dealing with here.
How do we know she didn't just like, accidentally food poison her cult one day at
she
a
got
meeting?
some bad buckwheat flour.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It very well could have happened.
Could easily have happened. They, well, obviously it can't be our cosmic main character giving us, bad Outback Steakhouse takeout. It's got to be HARP and the fight for our ascended souls.
Yeah. So when it comes to like some of the things that she offers, a lot of her beliefs and stuff in terms of like what her organization needs to do comes from the works of a guy named George Gurdjieff. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly, but he created a thing called the Fourth Way. And the Fourth Way was a kind of new agey philosophy about basically taking a bunch of vaguely Eastern methodologies and stuff and smashing them together and saying this is better. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's one of the like the different ways are like the physicality of like the monks or something, and then the mental training of this and the spiritual training of this, and those are the three ways. And because I combined them together, that is the fourth way, is how this stuff came to be.
Can you see a man sitting in a lazy boy in grainy, late 90s television, and he tries to eat the popcorn, but he fucking spills it across the entire living room, and he looks at the camera and he's just like, I know the first way, and I know the second way. I even know the third way, but there has to be a fourth way.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how seriously to take the fourth way. I did a very cursory read of the Wikipedia, trying to understand what I'm reading here, and I don't know if this is a thing that people like and it works for people or whatever. But she basically took it and was like, "We need to work on ourselves, and I'm going to tell you how,
Nice.
and you got to go with my methods."
Perfect.
And my favorite thing is there are multiple points, including this one, where she takes a thing from another place and changes it just enough that it pisses off all of the people that that originally did that thing.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
They end up having like a falling out.
Oh,
it's happened
my
multiple
God.
times throughout her. She is like every person that she takes some like philosophical or theory or whatever from, she then takes it, tries to like change it a little bit, claim it as her own, reference like, oh, it's based on these things, but then like changes it and perverts it in such a way that the original people get really mad at her and like denounce her. It's kind of a fun arc throughout the last 25 years or whatever. Because the people that like the fourth way stuff, she has moved away from it pretty heavily, and a lot of the people that follow this stuff are not super much like are not really a fan of her works nowadays. she also has like changed over time what the Cassiopeans are. They're originally from a planet, then they were from the future, and now they're more of a like vibrational kind of ultra terrestrial thing. It's kind of like she's trying to change with the times, you know, like we're getting away from the full blown extraterrestrial hypothesis right now in like the people that aren't behind the times. And she has kind of changed to go into it. Yeah.
The conspiracy Overton window.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to think of what is a good thing to end this episode, because I think we're nearing the end of what I want to talk about here.
Give me one more little treat to go home with.
Yeah.
Because like I haven't even figured out whether or not I'm a real Jew.
I mean, we could do that. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Hey, I was worried I was going to have to wait a week to figure that out, but go ahead.
Okay. So by early 2018, she has really taken a turn for the right wing.
Sure.
She's left behind a lot of the stuff and is talking a lot about, alternative facts, quote unquote, and has taken a big stand against identity politics and,
perfect.
Warning about a quote coming Holocaust 2.0 with the Muslims being the target rather than the Jews. There's all this stuff through like this is when Sign of the Times really takes over, and she gets a lot more like overtly political. She was before this, but like I'm talking like. I mean, it's the rise of like the alt-right conspiracy pipeline where fake news is the fucking thing of the day, and everyone is looking for like everyone's fucking weird uncle is looking for something other than CNN to get news from, and is like finding their weird alternate news site
like
of choice.
freedomeagle.org.
Yeah, and that's she is 100% in that wheelhouse with the like with Sign of the Times. Yeah. So by early 2018, she has started to talk about these the true Semites, which she calls the Cantechian race. And these are mostly non-Jewish Semites.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because they're you can only really be judged yes or no on them by like a specific spiritual authority in the Cassiopeia community, who is definitely her. She can tell you if you're real or fake. And she found all of this stuff. I copied down the transcript entirely. That this started, as far as I can tell, all the way back in 1999. But only really came to the forefront with the rise of Trump. This is some stuff from her a channeling session. So, where did the Jews come from? Is her question.
Everybody wants to know.
Starts
Nobody
out this
knows,
session.
actually.
Yes. She does say the implications of this material, if true, are enormous right before this. So, get ready for that.
Yeah.
So, where did the Jews come from? Atlantis. Who was Yahweh? A fictional being.
Okay.
Who was the God that spoke to Moses on the mount? Audible projection of lizards. Which is a David Icke dog whistle if I've ever fucking heard one.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Did Moses at any time realize that he had been duped by the Lizzies?
What?
No.
What?
Yet the other night you said that Moses is also doing work with Christ on another plane. Is that correct?
Oh.
Yes.
So he's a planeswalker.
Sure. I'm sure that was a really good joke that I just don't. I understand it's a magic thing. Well, if he was misled by the Lizzies, how did he get to be a good guy? Taught afterward.
Oh my.
After what? Plane transfer.
Who is she talking to in these?
So she is channeling. It just says A, which is it's just one of her Cassiopean entities.
Okay.
It's not a specific.
So she's asking
thing.
them the questions and they're responding.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how all of her stuff works. So yeah, Moses didn't die. He was taken by the Cassiopeans. And then was Venus the pillar of smoke by day and fire by night as seen by the Jews during the Exodus as suggested by Velikovsky? No.
Oh, shit.
What was seen by the Jews? A guide ship. Were the lizards the ones who led the Jews to the promised land? No, were not led, followed their own path in an effort to escape the effects of cataclysms.
Okay.
So she continues on this thing. This is a kind of compiled list of all of the different channeling stuff she has in regards to what the Jews are. And effectively, the whole thing we think of as Jews, they're not the actual promised people. The true Semitic people are only, well, it's like Laura and whoever she deems as being a true Semite, because she's the one that can tell you yes or no.
Okay.
And it yet again fits into her kind of spiritual caste system that we're talking about here,
Right.
Which I was reading some people who did interviews with her. There's this one that was like a skeptic website that actually ended up talking to her, and she would like clam up anytime he would try to ask about this caste system thing and talk and organic portals, because he was not a human to her. He was an organic portal, and she couldn't explain the other stuff to him because it he wouldn't even understand it if she tried.
Of course,
like
of course.
It is very fucking uncomfortable.
Really cool that
in a
she
lot
has
of
to
ways.
develop a whole caste system here too. Like there's an order to which people matter is always a fun little bit for these kinds of conspiracies. Well, cool. Good to know that we were at least not duped by the reptilians. You know, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, well, God. So there's more just like weird nuggets in here about like the Ark of the Covenant was a power cell that the lizards gave to Jews to use for the manipulation of others.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Yeah, and so the cell was kept in the Ark of the Covenant, and only priests were allowed to use it because they would not try to use it for, quote, selfish reasons. And if anyone with I don't know what to take of this, but I'm just going to read this part. But then did coming near it injure a person? Yes. Well, why were these individuals able to come near it? Non-selfish energy field.
Okay.
Great. So you have to come to this power cell that is the Ark of the Covenant with pure thoughts and no selfishness inside of you, or else it will just fucking blow you up.
Cool.
You will like get murdered.
Tracks.
Yeah. There's stuff about the origin, like supposedly the Aryan race comes from the fifth planet Cantek, which is Kantekians.
Oh God, what?
This is like we are full blown into the worst shit here. That is her. I talked a while ago in an episode about this theory of like where like the true Semites came from, like, and it's another like this is a weird theory that has persisted for like 30 years, if not much. I'm actually probably much longer. But it like that the people we think of as Jews are not actually Jewish people and not true Semites. They are this like weird offshoot that has gotten called as such.
I do remember that.
The 13 tribes theories, if I remember correctly, is what it is, one word for it. This is very in that realm. She ends up talking about like Celts, which is also a thing that people talk about, like Celts and like the fucking the Goths and stuff is like back where the like actual stuff came from. Like it's this very weird alternate reality conspiracy theory that I can't fully explain off the top of my head. But it is this like European nationalist view of where Semites and what Semite means and what Jew means that is used for purely anti-Semitic, anti-Jew purposes.
Cool.
So yeah, look, next episode, I haven't even gotten into maybe her most batshit theory, which I'm just going to tease for what we're going to talk about a lot next week, which is she has very interesting ideas on psychopaths. That is one of her big things, is that psychopaths are a big problem for the universe and are much more common than you might think. So we're going to get into that
whatever
next
that
week.
means.
Yeah.
I can't even
buckle up. We also still have all of her, her alternative medicine stuff, her an alternate Jesus. Look, there's all sorts of shit coming. So let's get ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So I think we're going to wrap this up here for this week. We'll be back with part 2 on the works of Laura Knight-Jadczyk soon. And I've got a big question for you if you're
Let's
ready.
hear it.
All right. So I got this. I will fully admit that this comes from a specific thing that has been bouncing around in my brain recently. But if you were to lead your own cult or church, what would your uniform be? What would you make everyone wear?
Well, interesting. You can see here how I'm dressed. I kind of do like the classic, cult robe with hood. But you'll see here I have also this gold chain I'm wearing around my neck. Kind of nice. It's not real, so you're gonna have to get a fake gold chain. And I think the painted nails, maybe get like a nice painted nails setup going. I think that's like, I think I would hit them with the classics is where I would go with a lot of my cult uniform. And of course, waist down, we're talking tight leather pants.
Okay. So even though it's going to be covered by the robe, you want some really tight.
Yeah, we want to get those. We want to take your fucking junk down there.
Whatever you got going on down
that
there,
shit tight to your body, because that's if there's one thing that I know, that cultists who are strapped in leather from the waist down will not be overcome by any sort of salacious desires. It's not going to get in the middle of our cult practices, so nobody's going to want to fuck or get sexy with each other wearing those pants.
Fair.
That's kind of my idea. And then I'm also part of the barefoot movement, so no shoes.
Okay, barefoot, leather pants, full tunic, and hooded cloak and everything, and then also a golden chain, fake gold. Okay. See, this question was inspired by, have you heard, this could totally be apocryphal. I have not actually fact-checked this. It's honestly too good of a story for me to fact-check, because if it isn't true, then that's kind of disappointing. Have you heard the story of the Heaven's Gate basketball team?
I have heard of this, yes.
It is one of the most, it has been a brainworm in my head for a month now, that the idea that the Heaven's Gate away team had these their jerseys that people have made reproductions of that you can purchase, that I almost tried to do, that they were the day that the whole thing that Heaven's Gate was based around, the comet passing over, when they were supposed to be brought up into the UFOs and everything and taken away, the thing the entire cult is leading to. The day that was supposed to happen, the Heaven's Gate cult supposedly had an away basketball game where people were just not there when the entire mass suicide happened. They were playing basketball in this jersey and everything.
I know the truth about that, and I'm not going to tell you.
It's probably entirely made up, but it's a very funny story if it's true.
So you're saying you want jerseys, which I respect. I respect that.
I think really colorful, ridiculous jerseys is a good way to go. Maybe even turn into a jersey romper situation. You know?
Plus, I
like kind of a
track people with their
piece.
names on the jerseys and stuff and their numbers.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to keep your followers, in under control and under your thumb.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
perfect.
So yeah. So I'm gonna look. Even if it wasn't actually real, I'm gonna make it real. We're gonna fucking get some cult basketball uniforms.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I think that will wrap us up for the week. Let's go ahead and take care of some business.
All right.
If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Twitter at IGW Podcast.
You can follow us on Facebook.com/ItGetsWeirdPodcast.
And we're on all your favorite podcatchers, from Stitcher to Google Play to Apple Podcasts to Spotify. I think Stitcher is dead. I just said it because it's a muscle memory. But look up podcasts. Look up It Gets Weird. If wherever you listen to podcasts, look us up, and we're probably there.
Twitch.tv/ItGetsWeird. We play video games. That's right. And sometimes they're weird, spooky games, especially this month. So I'm probably going to pick up a spooky. I actually said spoopy accidentally. That was not intentional. And I'm probably going to play one here real soon. So check that out. Give us a follow. Itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a fucking email for once. please. And we'll read it on the show.
Yeah.
If it's good. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We have a $2 tier and a $5 tier. At the $2 tier, you're going to get access to It Gets Weird TV, where right now we just started season 2 of the X-Files by popular demand. Our listeners voted and said, we want more X-Files. And we said, say less. And so we're watching season 2. And you can catch that show every other week on the $2 tier. At the $5 tier, you get access to It Gets Weird TV plus another bonus show that comes out in the off weeks. So at the $5 tier, you get bonus content every single week. Whether you donate at the $2 tier or the $5 tier, you get access to the main show 2 days early on Friday instead of Sunday. And you get access to the Discord where we're hanging out, chatting about all kinds of shit. We also have a $1 tier where you don't get anything. You're just saying, hey, I like your show. Here's a tip. Thanks for doing what you do. If you can't donate, please tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your congressman all about It Gets Weird podcast, and tell your congressman ceasefire against the Palestinian people.
Yeah. Holy shit. So, thank you all for listening. This has been It Gets Weird. I've been Niall.
And I'm Kyle, signing out.